Okay. Being recorded.
As part of calling the meeting to order, I will announce that given the emergency declarations from the state relating to COVID-19, this meeting is being held pursuant to a Zoom application. Members of the public wishing to provide public input may do so in real time via the Zoom meeting link that is provided in the agenda package. You may also email comments. And you can provide real-time public comments by calling the number that is listed on the agenda packet.
Can you say the number for the folks that are not seeing it, but they could at least hear it on the phone?
Oh boy, that's an eye test. 1-669-900-6833.
Could
Meeting
you
on,
repeat the number?
This is for members of the public. 1-669-900-6833.
meeting ID, please.
Uh, 938-4506-5100.
Again,
938-4506-5100.
that's 10 digits, 11 digits,
For the meeting ID.
11 digits.
Nine-
Yes.
That I believe we're ready to call the meeting to order. Rita?
Okay, so it's 6:37 p.m. And I guess we can start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So I guess everybody can stand.
I have a flag behind me. If you guys want to honor that, I think that'll work. Commissioner Polito.
Sure. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the
Pledge
flag
allegiance to the flag
of the United
of the
States
United States
of
of
America
America,
and to the
and to the
republic
republic for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
work. Everything else.
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
justice
justice for all.
for all.
Right there.
Thank you, everyone, for that.
So it says select microphone, select speaker.
As
Yeah, that's all.
a housekeeping rule,
can't
if
hear.
you as a housekeeping rule, could you please just mute yourselves
Oh, okay, no wonder.
until you're ready to speak?
Thank you.
Thank you. Jess, do you want to go ahead and start with the official roll call?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Jess.
William Coombs.
You gotta unmute yourself, Bill.
You know, she's still very hard to hear, but it sounds like William Coombs. I'm a present.
Yes.
Here,
Nadine Gills Ward. Nadine. Need to unmute.
Here.
Freeman Watkins. He does not seem to be on. Not here. Angela Isaiah Payne. Angela, can you unmute?
I think she said she was driving, so maybe she's having difficulty.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So I'll
okay,
mark her here.
okay.
Bree Taylor,
Here,
Rick Polito,
Present. Good evening.
and Lillian Hobson.
Lillian is absent due to a family emergency.
Okay, thank you. Eleanor Mack,
Here,
One more time?
Eleanor Mack,
here,
thank you. And Rodolfo Volantes. Thank you.
So Rita, I think the roll call is complete.
Okay. You want to take it from here, Director?
Sure. So this is our first meeting. So one of the things we wanted to do is to both introduce, have the commissioners have the ability to introduce themselves as well as, oh, excuse me.
All right, you can continue.
Somehow I got muted. And somehow, Rita, your screen is not showing.
I unshared just for a second so everybody could see each other for the introductory piece of this,
Oh, okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah, so I was just mentioning that we wanted to have everybody introduce themselves, and then as well as city staff also introduce themselves. So maybe we can start with Rick Polito, and maybe if you could say a couple words about yourself and why you wanted to be on this commission, and then we'll just kind of go through. And I think our goal is for 1 hour on this particular meeting, if I recall correctly, is what we're shooting for. So once we do introductions, then we'll go into the presentations.
Okay, thank you, Liza. Good evening, everybody. Rick Polito, almost a 40-year homeowner resident here in the city of Carson. I'm glad that we finally got our first meeting going off tonight. It's been a while and it's been an ordeal, and we should have had a meeting probably by this summer or earlier, but I know because of Corona and because of other crises that are going on, for instance, H2S, hydrogen sulfide and whatnot, things are happening very quickly and very fluidly. But regardless, I'm so glad that we're having our meeting, that we're moving forward now, and that we're going to be continuing to have meetings every month, it looks like now. So a little bit about myself. I'm a family man. We have 7 children, my wife Modesta and I. She's also a commissioner. I've been on various commissions, planning commission, public safety commission. This is the first time I've been an environmental commission, but I like it. I am an environmentalist, so I have a lot to share, and I think I have a lot to give so that we can hopefully go forward for our city and benefit our community. I'm all about community, as you know. I'll be speaking very loud about making sure that we keep our eyes on the prize, and that our ears and our eyes are to the ground, making sure that we adhere to all of our policy and procedures regarding environmental issues, as well as safety issues throughout the city for our community. So with that said, I'm very glad to be seeing my colleagues here and some friends, and all you are new staff members, so you guys are gonna have to tell us a little bit more about yourselves, like I know later. But I'm looking forward to a good rapport and a lot of stuff. I have a lot of things that I want to share just to get on the grill, just to get on the record tonight, and then we can agendize them as we go along. But we do have to catch up, because we have been lacking in the last year, unfortunately, as far as our commissions going, specifically this one that is very needed at this time. So
Great,
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much, and
thank you. Angela Isaiah Payne.
Good evening. This is Angela Isaiah Payne. I'm actually multitasking. I apologize. I have been a resident of Carson since 1974 when my parents purchased our home. I'm a former Miss Carson for 1984. And I've served as a Human Relations Commissioner many years ago. I'm very happy to be a part of this commission. I'm very concerned about the environment in the city of Carson. That's where my roots are, and I want to continue to be of service and make a difference. I'm a regional administrator for the County of Los Angeles and adjunct faculty member for Long Beach City College. Very happy to be a part of the Environmental Commission, and everybody stay healthy and stay safe.
Thank you. Huey Taylor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Huey Taylor. Been a Carson resident probably for the last, since 1985. I'm a retiree, married, 4 daughters. Been on the Environmental Commission probably for the better part of 8 years now. So I really have some history with the commission, at least for the last 8 years. Just have a real interest in certainly serving my community, and secondarily in any type of environmental issues. So I'm here to, do whatever I can do and endeavor to make Carson a better community, especially from an environmental perspective.
Great, thank you. How about Mrs. Busby Mack? I think you need to unmute.
Is she calling me?
No, did I say the name right? Mrs.
Eleanor Mack.
I still have trouble hearing you. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
can't.
no, that's no problem. Eleanor Mack? Oh, okay.
Okay,
So it
that's
pops
not
up
me.
different.
Jess, can you unmute Commissioner Mack?
It says to ask to unmute, so she has to.
Eleanor Mack, are you able to unmute?
Other.
Should be the bottom of the left-hand side of your screen.
Oh, there we go.
You're live.
Okay, I'm Eleanor, and I've been a citizen of Carson since 1968. And my whole agenda is to do for the community what, or call attention to what needs to be done in the community in terms of environmental issues.
Well, we're glad to have you on the commission.
Thank you.
All right. Next, William Coons.
Okay, I heard that one.
All right,
My name is William Coons, and this is my second term. I served about 3 or 4 years with a man named Love, and then I served a couple years on the Beautification Commission, and now I'm serving as my about 3rd or 4th year on Environmental Commission. By trade, I'm a retired engineer, quality and reliability engineer. Won't tell you how old I am, but I'm up there. And I've been active in politics here in the city. I speak at council meetings sometimes, and I'm glad to see that our commission is back operating. And there are gigantic issues ahead. So let's all pull together and work for a better and cleaner environment. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we'll start with folks from the city. I think I've got everybody. Is that right? Or is there anybody that I've missed? Have we heard from Nadine?
No,
Nadine.
Oh, sorry. Sorry
That's
about that.
that's perfectly okay. Hi, I'm Nadine Gills Ward, and I have been a longtime Carson resident. This is my first time serving on a commission. I live in the home with a hubby who has served as a commissioner, but this is my first time accepting a position. I'm retired now, and I have the time to do so. The Environmental Commission is one that I take extreme interest in because I feel that our city is in need of such a commission. So I look forward to getting involved in the work. I think we're coming in at this point where our hands are really tied because we know absolutely nothing of what's going on. So I'm looking forward to learning quite a lot because we are faced with a very serious issue. And I think if we had been called in sooner, maybe we would have had a hand in helping to come to some type of conclusions or helping to decide some issues that would have been beneficial to our city. But since we're being brought in now, we will just jump in running real fast.
Sounds great. Thank you. Now have I caught everybody? So I'll start with myself. I'm Eliza Jane Whitman. I am a civil engineer. I joined the city of Carson as the Director of Public Works the end of January. So I'm still learning a lot. I'm very fascinated by the city. There's so much opportunity. I'm really excited to be serving on the Environmental Commission and sharing a lot of what we're doing in public works as well as the city in general with everyone. And, you know, definitely we're interested in what the commission is interested in and, you know, hearing from your perspective. So look forward to being and working with you all. Next, Rita.
Sure, thank you. So good evening, everyone. My name is Rita Colchar. I have actually been working for the city since 2008. I've worked in the engineering department and I've had a couple different roles and responsibilities here, but I've held the title of sustainability administrator for a couple of years now. But total service with the city has been just over 13 years. I care very deeply about the city of Carson and the residents and the community. I care very deeply about environmental issues and sustainability. And so while I'm new to this commission, I look forward, I'm glad to be able to meet everybody today, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you all. So thank you.
Thank you. Jessica?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name's Jessica. This is my first commission meeting. And I am the senior clerk for Public Works. I started working for the city in 2017 as an intern with Public Works, helping both engineering and operations. Then I got promoted and with public safety for 2 years as a clerical, specifically with code enforcement. And then came back to Public Works as a senior clerk for the engineering division. I have a bachelor's degree in environmental science and policy from Cal State Long Beach, and pretty excited. So see how commissions work and get educated and learn from everybody.
Great. Thank you very much. John, how about you?
John Sakamoto. I started in March as the sanitation officer for Public Works. I'm under Eliza Jane and Veronica Rodriguez, right-of-way superintendent. Prior to joining City of Carson, I was in program management for an engineering firm that had their headquarters in Pasadena. They specialize in healthcare and institutional design, full service, MEP, civil, structural, acoustical, and all the other low voltage ancillary engineering disciplines that support the larger design. We did quite a few city projects, City of LA County, and a number of hospitals for seismic retrofit ordinances. I'm actually really excited to start with the city. It's a new role. It's a new regulatory requirement that's come up that they need help on. And there's going to be some more sanitation officers joining me. So you guys can keep that in mind. There'll be more of us in the future to support your needs in the community.
Great, thank you. And Lana?
Good evening. My name is Lana Lehman. I'm with your city attorney's office, Al Shiren Winder. I've been a city attorney and doing city attorney work for 20 plus years. And in a deputy capacity, I've been working with the city of Carson since probably about 2011, 2012. You may see some different faces rotate through the city capacity seat on this commission. We have a few different deputies and a couple of assistant city attorneys that all assist with the city. So it is likely not to always be me on these meetings, but I am very happy to be here and see how this kicks off.
Great, thank you so much for being able to attend this one. We appreciate it. So Rita, if you can go back to the agenda and start sharing your screen, we'll go through what is on. So we, as everybody knows, this is our first meeting. So on consent calendar, there is nothing. There's also no unfinished business. Wow, we are really skipping through the agenda really fast.
A question, I'm sorry, a question to the staff there.
Sure.
Yeah, you say there's no unfinished business?
Just give me a second here. Okay, hold on. I just want to zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, that looks good. So as you're
Oh, wait,
doing that, so-
we're here on the, before we move on, we're here on the public oral communication, so.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. So this is where, correct me if I'm wrong, Lana, this is where any of the commissioners or public can bring up any matters within the Carson Environmental Commission or any items on the agenda.
I believe there's actually for commissioners, there is a separate section for commissioner comments towards the end of the agenda. This is for public comment, if we have any. Because this is a special meeting, public comment is limited only to those items that are specifically listed on this agenda.
Okay, got it. So I guess then do we go to Jessica to see if there's anybody that's from the public?
No, I haven't received any public comments through email or phone, and I don't see anybody here. I might have one person from the public.
Is it a phone number?
It's a person's name, Isa Polito. But other than that, I haven't received any emails or phone calls.
okay, so let's hear from the young man, see what he has to say. What has he got? 3 minutes, 2 minutes, or how many minutes we got?
For a signature, what is?
Pardon?
Three minutes for any item that is on the agenda.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So is there anybody speaking?
I can't hear anybody.
Sounds like we move on. Is that right, Jessica?
Well, did you ask for his, is it open, his line, or have you already given the opportunity for him to speak? Does he know he's on live now?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
now we can.
There we go.
Yes, hi. Excuse me, my video is a bit messed up here. Hi, Isa Polito, longtime resident, community advocate. city employee and lifelong Carson resident. I'm calling in here to congratulate our environmental commission that's been reinstated. I wanted to say first and foremost, as a resident, we look forward to seeing the environmental commission move forward. According to the agenda, I did want to speak on, I believe, items, see here, 1 and 2 here. I also wanted to mention about the hydrogen sulfide smell that has been occurring here in the city of Carson. So,
Unfortunately, sorry to interrupt, that's not on the agenda. And if I heard our attorney correct, it's only the items on the agenda.
okay. So as I'm
But
looking,
it is oral communication. The public has a right to speak for First Amendment rights. So I don't think that should be an issue. If he wants to say something in general, I don't think that should be a question for us to decide. That's oral communication from the public.
The rule under the Brown Act is that for special meetings, the oral communication is limited only to those items on the agenda. However, given the breadth of the agenda item relating to the future to be developed work plan for the commission, I believe that general comments relating to an environmental condition that may be an issue relating to that work plan would be appropriate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, may I continue, please?
Please.
Thank you. Okay, so as I'm and as I'm looking at the agenda here regarding the nomination and elect members to serve on the chair, I believe this is item 8 here. Am I correct under new business?
Number 1. Yeah,
Okay.
8 and then number 1 or 8. Yes.
Yes, 1 under 8. So thank you. So in regards to this, I believe that our environmental commission shall be a very sought out commission, a very vital commission that must work hand in hand with each other. I believe we should nominate a chairperson and vice chairperson who will work extremely well on these environmental issues, helping bring zero emissions, eco-friendly, solar, wind, solar, across the boards, so that we can have our city council make definite, informative decisions that'll help our public residents here in the city of Carson. I think that we should definitely, I look forward to hearing the qualifications of all these of all these members here on the commission. And I really would love to see our city work hand in hand, especially on the issues, because I think that a chair and vice chair on this position in this commission should have the most experience and someone who's already in the field working extremely hard, working diligently to make sure that these residents get their environmental concerns answered. In regards to the reviewing of duties under 2 for item 8, I believe that the duties for the environmental commission are going to be substantial, especially going into this new fiscal year. As a resident under the I'm looking at oral update from city staff. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm looking forward to see what we can do with that storm water permit and also this waste ordinance, because we do need to reduce our carbon footprint in Carson. And I really would appreciate if we can get updates to our city council not only every council meeting, but we can also get like an annual fiscal calendar on our website, like an
You have
update
20 seconds left.
what the environmental commission is doing. Thank you. We should also improve our basically work together and also work with nonprofits, seek out our coalitions and try to secure any grants for our community. So I really would appreciate seeing that, and definitely would tackle these issues and concerns that our residents are having. So thank you very much, Isa Polito, Carson resident. God bless you guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Polito.
All right. So now, is there anybody else, Jessica, that has called in or is interested in speaking?
No, I haven't received anything.
Okay. So we'll move on to the consent calendar. And as this is our first, there's nothing on the consent calendar for this meeting. Again, because this is our first meeting, there is no continued or unfinished business.
I have a question on that one,
Yeah,
staff.
sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have you saying that there is no unfinished business or anything from the last meeting of the commissioners from last year or whenever they had met. There was nothing pending. There was nothing that we should be aware of, or we should continue to be reviewing or discussing in the near future. Nothing at all.
So Rita, when you worked with Saeed, my understanding is there wasn't anything, but can you confirm that?
That was my understanding as well.
Yeah, we followed
Well,
up
I would
with,
like to say something.
okay, sure.
So I was in that commission at the time,
Okay,
Environmental Commission, and the final two things may or may not have been completed. We had sent a letter, if I can state what those two items are, that the ones I remember, about the fireworks. We had come out and sent a letter before January 4th of 2020. I think our meeting was February, if I remember right. So we had given the city council a letter saying that we would like to do away with all fireworks. The reasons why goes from pets to babies, the injuries, the fires. There's numerous reasons. So the city council discussed that. They made the thing tighter, but they really never did that this last year. They still had fireworks. They still had it going on. The second item, we were still asking the planning department, and especially Saeed Nassef, for he's a little over, he's community services now or something like that. But we had asked for feedback on the Inland Star, who was a possible, was a violator of permitting and a whole bunch of things, and had been storing dangerous chemicals in a plant here in the city. So we had never, they actually got away with all those CalARP chemicals, which are the most dangerous ones. And we were waiting on a feedback from the inspection report by the hazmat team of the fire department, which comes to the city and the city attorney, and then comes to us. So there is two items that, or at least the Inland Star one, we'd like to get feedback on that.
Okay, well, we
And
noted those, so we'll dig into that and try to find out what the status is for next time.
yeah, and the fireworks, on the fireworks, I'd like to see us do it again this year, because it was almost just as bad again on July 4th, and July 4th is coming up soon.
Makes sense,
So
thank you.
it's a bad situation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh,
So
I have a
now, oh, go ahead, please.
Yes, I know there should be some minutes available from our very last meeting. I mean, maybe that would help with some continuity, because
Yes.
I agree with Mr. Coons. He was absolutely right. We had the fireworks issue, and there was that issue with that company and the dangerous chemicals. Those were the things that were really important that we were working on.
Okay.
My understanding was the council voted against the firework recommendations we made, but we never heard back from anything official back from the council either.
If I could step in, go ahead, Lana.
If I may, in order to keep in line with the agenda, and since, the continued unfinished business item is currently listed as none, and we do have space listed on the agenda for some more general discussions, either review of duties of the Environmental Commission, or again, the work plan, or more general discussions. And if you believe there's unfinished business from the prior commission, that you think should be either discussed as part of the work plan or as the duties of the Environmental Commission. Those items on the agenda, or those areas of the agenda, may be the more appropriate area to discuss those issues.
Okay. Going on to new business. So I think this next one, a lot of these items, we have followed what, there's only been a couple other commissions that have started. All other commissions are not starting until January 2022. So we've, evaluated and looked at what the other agendas look like. And so what we have here are some of the items that we need to go through as a group. And the first one for the organization is to nominate and elect members to serve as both the chair and the vice chair for 2021 and 2022. So starting there, I guess the first question is who would like to serve as the chair, and then we can, have a discussion about, and then I guess we vote.
I would like to say something at this time if I can.
Sure.
Okay, we don't really know each other. We had the little brief introduction of each other when we first started, but this is our first time gathering as a committee. And I really do not have an opinion of any of the persons so far that, I've had conversation with here this evening. Do we have to come up with our chair and co-chair person tonight?
Lana?
Technically, you probably do not have to, but it certainly is more efficient for purposes of running the meeting. For example, the chair would have the duty, the chair, or in the chair's absence, the vice chair would have the duty of starting the Pledge of Allegiance, keep going through and keeping discussion organized pursuant to the agenda. And running some of the parliamentary procedures, asking points of order. The chair position is more of a position for meeting efficiency, as opposed to a position that is hinged upon any specific expertise or experience.
I'll go along with the majority, but I still feel that in this little short, brief time, I'm not comfortable. Even if the person is just in charge of calling the meeting to order and asking everybody to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I feel that as a committee, as a commission, we should want to have people that are experienced and are capable of carrying our messages to our leadership, to our city council. I do feel, and if I'm not correct, somebody correct me, there's no interaction from this committee with our city council.
What was that? There's no what with this?
I'm asking, there's no interaction between this commission and the city council. We don't have a responsibility as a commission to present some type information to the city council at times.
Yes, we're supposed to make recommendations to the council.
Okay, so if that is the case, my question is, wouldn't we want to know that we are placing people into positions of leadership on our commission that are capable of fulfilling these type of responsibilities? I know that it's quite simple for somebody to call a meeting to order and ask me to stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. But I would feel that if the city of Carson is forming commissions there's more to the duties of these commissions than calling a group of people together and saying, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. So I think my question is, aren't we supposed to be looking for people that are qualified to lead these commissions and speak for us as a commission?
Yeah, if I could comment on that, I think you're right on spot there, ma'am, because, you know, we as commissioners are the eyes and ears and, you know, the voice of the community. And when we get those positions of chair or vice chair, we need to make sure that, you know, we are all in agreement and that we
Mhm.
speak as a consensus, you know, building a entity. We're a commission. Nobody acts on their own here. We're a voice that's collectively here to serve at the, you know, the whim of the city council, of course, and the mayor, but we also are here to, you know, make sure that we all are working together. That's very important, like you said, and we need to have, you know, skills. And for myself, you know, I've been a chair and I've been a vice chair of many commissions for many years. I run a nonprofit agency right now, an environmental agency. I have a lot of skill sets that have prepared me. I did planning commission, which is the most powerful, if you will, or, you know, the most important commission, if you will, only because of, you know, the land use issues and all the site plans and everything that we have to prove and all the projects that the due diligence has to be done. Robert rules have to be, you know, we're quasi, you know, commission. I think Lola knows what I'm talking about. So a lot of things, the legality part of it, we want to make sure that we're representing properly and professionally at all times. And we just want to make sure that we as a commission feel, like you just said, feel confident and feel comfortable with the person. And I think it's a yearly position or
Okay.
whatever we decide it should be. And it should rotate too. I'm one that believes in that too. I think everybody should get experience at leadership roles. And I would be one that would love, you know, I'd be willing to help out in that capacity if you guys would like me to. I'd be willing to throw my hat in, if you will. But I can give you more of my experience and more of my skill set and my resume if you like, but I don't want to take up all the time. So thank you very much for those questions. You're right on.
Thank you.
So is there anybody else that's interested in being either the chair or the vice chair?
Well, I'd like to say something regarding what the lady was talking about. Generally, when a commission first gets together, they don't know each other. They don't know a lot. So what we could do, and typically you want to, the chair should be like a rolling position. Every year it should change, or every 6 months. But what we could do, we could make it, since we don't know each other, we could just take 2 volunteers and easily at the beginning here, just make it a temporary position and say in 6 months, we go and revote. And in that regard, but we would get to know each other in the 6 months, and then we would have a better idea. We could either keep the same or move on and get others. Now, as far as what the chair does, he does more than that. By Robert's Rules of Order, he chairs the meeting, not the staff people. He not only pledge of allegiance, each agenda item he will introduce or call up, just like somebody is doing today from staff. So he or she chairs the meeting. It's not just pledge of allegiance. So that to say that, what else did she say? I think that was about it. But we could, like I say, make it a temporary position. But it is the person calls the meeting, chairs, and calls on you. And by Robert's rules, I already say Mr. Chair, and be recognized, and then you speak. And that's the way, even by Zoom, we should do it. So
Yep, that's right.
That's it.
Just to be clear, I did say that the chair runs the agenda order and manages the agenda and the agenda discussion. But I would have to ask staff with respect to what's being discussed in terms of a temporary chair. I'm not sure if we have specific city rules that would apply for how long a chair sits in their position that we may have to check.
So if you go to the background section, essentially the chair and the vice chair can hold their seat for 1 year, and then following the first day of every calendar year or such other time that may be designated by resolution by the city council, that they should appoint a new member to serve. So if we took if there was a chair and a vice chair elected today, then they would serve today's meeting, they would serve for the rest of this calendar year, and then we would do this again, I presume, in January.
January. So that seems to get us to the same.
That's good.
That's good.
The same end. Yeah. Seems to get us to the same end.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, and then one
Okay,
day,
and I'm also looking where state postponed the election to a future meeting. So we do have the option of postponing to a future meeting.
You
But
do.
since I have sat here and listened to Mr. Polito, Mr. Polito, it really does sound like you have some experience at handling the environmental commission. If I'm mistaken, just correct me. But if we don't have any other volunteers, I would like to ask if you would be willing to chair us at this time. And because I'm learning, and I'm just being totally honest, I know absolutely nothing about this commission. I want to learn a lot. And I want to learn from someone that has a heart for teaching and a heart for really, really dealing into this issue, okay? So if you would be willing, I'm willing to nominate you for that position.
I appreciate that. I am humbled by that, and yes, I would be if my colleagues would, agree. I would certainly be honored, and I will do my best between now and January to show you that I will be a team leader and a team player, and I will have total accessibility, to each other. We call each other when we have to. We keep staff in check, if you will, and city attorney will keep us in check, and we will get everything done properly according to policy and procedure and accordingly for the benefit of our community. I think
Okay.
we are, we are here, and I appreciate you saying that we are here to serve. So I will humbly, agree to your nomination if there's a motion, that is.
I
Are we
second
not-
that.
I will second her motion. If she makes a motion, I will second it.
Okay, well, I move that we select Rick Polito as our chairperson.
And
I second
it.
the motion.
I second it also, whatever. She's okay.
Lana, do we need to take a roll call vote, or can we just do ayes and
Yes,
nays?
I would take a roll call vote. We need a majority of the members present.
Okay. Jessica, can you handle that, or you want me to take it?
Can you take it? I'm gonna
Okay.
learn.
Okay, sure. Let me get my notes out. Okay, sorry, I don't have this in alphabetical order, so just bear with me for this one. But Commissioner Polito,
Aye, or yes?
Commissioner Nadine Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner William Coons,
Yes,
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Isaiah Payne,
It's on mute.
Commissioner Isaiah Payne,
I asked her to unmute, so we'll probably a second.
okay. Commissioner Mack,
Aye.
so the motion passes, carries.
I'm sorry, what was the count?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses.
And how many no's?
No nos, but we don't have a response from Commissioner Isaiah Payne.
Okay, so that's abstain? What does that count as? Absentee? Abstain, I guess.
It's an abstain.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So the next item is to see if anybody would like to serve as the vice chair.
I would make a motion if we could have Mr. Coons, who has a lot of experience and knowledge of this commission for many years now, to be vice chair, Bill Coons.
I accept the nomination.
Is there a motion?
That was a motion. I made nomination for Bill
You
Keach.
did.
Thank you.
Want to do a roll call, Rita? Or do we need a second?
No, actually, I was wondering if that question was going to come up. Hyper technically, you don't need a second for a nomination. You can go ahead and take your roll call.
Okay.
I'll second it. I'll second it for,
Okay, okay, there we go.
thank you, legality. I'll
Yeah.
second it.
I
You know,
like that.
We're all learning today with Zoom. Okay, Commissioner Polito?
Yes,
Yes. Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Coons?
Yes,
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes,
Commissioner Isaiah Payne? And Commissioner Mack?
Yes,
Okay, the motion carries.
that is with 5-0 and 1 abstention.
Correct.
Okay. Congratulations, Bill, and to our commission. Thank you very much.
congratulations, Rick.
Great, thank you. So the
Next item.
next item, Rita, you're up.
Yes. So at this point, the chair and the vice chair are going to take over being the president of the meeting.
Okay. Well, thank you very much again for my colleagues to give me that honor and respect to be your chair at this point. And I know Bill might want to say a few words too. And I'm looking forward to serving and to being a good colleague and a good teammate, like I said. And we work all together and strive to make this the best and beautifulest environmentally friendly city in the world. Bill?
Sure, that sounds good. Let's ditto what Rick said.
All
I'm
right.
through.
Okay, so the next item, if staff could scroll back up, and I think we're at, is it new business?
Yeah,
yes.
Jessica, if you could scroll down.
Number
Yes, scroll
two,
down. Thank you.
number
Lon.
two, I think.
There
Thank
we
you,
go.
Thank you, Miss City Attorney.
So this
Number,
is item number 2 under new business.
okay, item number 2 under new business is a receive and file. And can we have a staff report a little bit what this is pertaining to? Because I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry.
So the subject is reviewing the duties of the Environmental Commission.
Oh, okay.
Want to go down a little bit further, Rita, so people can see
Yeah.
the background? So, I mean, I can read if you, or I guess everybody can take a look at it, but it's I'll just read it. It's undertake the investigation and studies and to hold hearings concerning the pollution of the city's environment and to make recommendations to the city council of reasonable and practical means of creating and maintaining a desirable, healthy environment in and throughout the city of Carson. Said investigations and studies may be made by committees created by the commission, chaired by a member of the commission, and comprised of commission members, citizens of the city of Carson, and any other individuals having experience or expertise which would be helpful in the accomplishment of the committee's purposes. Continuing, to consult and advise with public officials and agencies on the local, state, and federal level with members of the industrial, civic, educational, and professional communities, either individually or in concert, towards the goal of accomplishment and execution of the environmental plans, programs, and policies approved by the City Council. C, endeavor to promote public interest in and understanding of the problems of environmental pollution and remedies therefore. D, recommend to the City Council the adoption of standards or guidelines relating to permitted levels of noise, air pollution, and water pollution. E, act as the City Underground Utilities Advisory Committee. F, coordinate enforcement by and cooperative efforts between other concerned environmental agencies, private firms, and organizations, and the several departments of the city. G, review proposed legislation, federal, state, and local, which may have a bearing upon environmental factors affecting the city, and make recommendations to the city council as to any position or action to be taken with respect thereto. H, act in an advisory capacity to the city council, the city manager, and their designees in matters related to the beautification of the city of Carson. I, review and provide advice and recommendations concerning beautification of the city of Carson and recommend to the full city council enhancements to the aesthetics of the city of Carson and ways to enhance the beauty of the city of Carson for Carson residents. Now, I believe, Rita, it's H and I that have been combined that's new this year. Is that correct?
Yes, let me go back up just one page. So the city council adopted ordinance number 21-2103, which merged the beautification commission into the environmental commission. So they updated section 2753 and 2758. So our director just read off the section 2753. And so the last H and I are the new additions. And there's also section 2758, which is also has been updated.
So is there any questions related to that?
Any questions from any of my colleagues on any of the what Ms. Eliza James read to us, or anything that anybody want any clarification on? It's pretty clear. Can we get a copy, by the way, of all of our you know, the bylaws and all this new merging? Can we, is it possible for our next meeting, perhaps we can have or before it, we could read for a preview? Please.
Are you thinking like the Carson Municipal Code, the revised one?
Yeah, but not the whole municipal code.
Sure.
I mean, just the environmental, you know, yes, the merger and this, whereas I haven't seen this and I'm glad to see it now. And maybe I think my colleagues, all my commissioners would probably like to review it and, you know, do a little bit of, you know, analyzing as well. It's just for them to be able to, you know, look at it. And if there's questions, maybe at the next meeting, we could open it up for a little discussion. But otherwise, I feel very confident what the city council did. They merged the two, beautification and, you know, environmental commission. And I think it's a good move, and looking forward to implementing a lot of these whereases and in the near future. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair.
just call me Bill.
All right, Bill.
Since I served on both commissions, environmental and beautification, what I'd like to suggest is we get a copy of what the beautification commission did and give that to each member of environmental, so we can know the responsibility and the task of which both commissions are responsible for. Because there is an ordinance specifying what they did. So if we could get that and pass it along or read it at the next meeting, then we would know both former commissions and what they're responsible for.
I will add that, Chair Polito, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
I will add that exhibit number, this exhibit to item number 2 is part of the staff report and the packet that everybody received. It is the ordinance, which goes into detail about the merger of the two commissions. So hopefully you have all the information as part of your packet.
Now, that's good to hear. Will some of these packets, can we pick up a hard copy for those that maybe don't have it digitally or don't want to just look at it on a computer, but actually have a copy? Is that possible, that we can in the future have the, if they request it, that we have a hard copy available of our, not only our packet, but like what you just said right now, that what Bill, I'm sorry, what Bill just said, just the beautification commission, and, you know, so we can just get a little bit more prepared, if you will, and be more knowledgeable what the two doing together now. This is good right here, don't get me wrong, but if there's more to read that we should be catching up on, I would be willing to, pick mine up and review it.
Question,
Yes,
Mr. Chair, if you don't mind.
go ahead.
So am I to assume that we now have 15 members, 15 total members on the commission? I mean,
No.
well, I'm looking at the names and
Yeah, that's a good
Uh,
question. Can somebody from staff or Lana, can they answer Commissioner Taylor's question?
Sure, the commission is, there's 9 commission members and 3 alternate members.
okay, because I was counting, it looks more like with the alternates, 5, 4, and 4, that's 13. I mean, on the first page of the agenda.
Yes.
If I could, there are 6 out of 7 in attendance tonight.
Okay,
Right.
There are 7 members appointed and 2 vacancies of the commission. I believe that's right. And in addition, at the meeting tonight, there are 4 staff members. So there are 10 people here, and there are apparently, again, 3 vacancies if you count the alternates, and there's, again, 2 alternates and 1 vacant alternate.
Can you double check that count
So,
for Commissioner? Thank you, Bill. For Commissioner Taylor, he counts 13. So let's just be.
I mean, just what I'm looking at. I
Okay.
mean, one may be an alternate, Belantes, that may be an alternate, but and there's
Do you
one
want-
vacancy.
No, it
That's
should
why I'm
be-
asking the question.
It's actually 9 listed
Okay.
there. There's, again, 7 commissioners, 2 vacancies. If you're looking at the revised list, and then there's 3 alternates, 2 alternates appointed and 1 vacancy. I don't know how you got 14. I get 9 and 3 is 12. I get 12 and you get 13. I don't see 13.
Well, I'm looking at, when I count, well, there's 1 vacancy, so there's a
Yeah.
vacancy. I mean, listed as a, so I'm assuming that's
Are you,
the position.
Are you-
Go ahead, Elijah James or Rita, can you guys confirm
Yeah,
what the makeup is, the actual
and I
number?
apologize. We need we'll clean this up for next time, but there'll
Okay.
be space between commissioners and
All right.
alternate. I think that's part of the problem. It's
Yeah.
There it is, right,
not
okay.
exactly clear who's an alternate and who's a commissioner.
Okay.
That's right.
So, yeah, but there, Rita's
Okay.
right. There are 9 commissioners and then three alternates.
Okay, is anybody being appointed who was on the former beautification committee? I mean, are any people from beautification commission being appointed to the environmental commission now, so we can at least have some history on what kind of work they were doing, or what
That's a good
projects they
point.
had going
Good
I
on?
point.
think Bill Coons was, right?
Yes. I don't think anyone else, but not, it wasn't prior to this. It was about a year, it was actually in 2018 that I got off the environmental, and then in the 2019, I got on the planning commission. I believe it was a year. But I do not recognize any other person on that list that was with me in beautification. And that's why I was recommending that we get the task assignment or the ordinance part that covers beautification. And that would maybe help us see what they were doing.
Yes, I agree. And I think Mr. Taylor made a good point. Maybe in the future, we could certainly share with our elected officials that they may want to consider, in the future, the vacancies that are still available, that maybe some beautification members that are still willing to serve.
Right.
Absolutely.
Excellent point, excellent point.
Thank you to Mr. Taylor for that point. Any other questions about, excuse me, about the, makeup of the commission, or any questions about what Ms. James has read to us? We'll get more.
Yes.
Go ahead, you have the floor.
I wanted to know if Lillian was counted in the number.
Staff member Liza, was Ms. Thompson counted in as a commissioner in the numbers? Regular or alternative? Can you?
Yeah, Lillian is one of the commissioners. She's listed there.
She's there, Miss Mac,
Okay, thank you.
as a regular commissioner, if you will.
Correct.
The alternates only come in, and maybe Alana could give us a little clarification if I'm wrong, but alternates only come in if a commissioner either leaves, the commission for whatever various reasons that they could leave, or, or removed by the elected officials if they choose, or miss a certain amount of meetings without excuse. Is that correct, Miss Lana, or how's that work?
You got it. That's right.
Okay, very good. Is it
Oh,
three?
also, Mr. Chair, if they're absent
Yeah, that's what I'm
at
asking.
one meeting or whatever,
Well,
usually the alternates, number one comes in and will take his place or her place, and then that person also votes.
yes,
So that, and then two comes in next and three as needed.
yes. So it's really important, I think, good point, Bill, and I think the city attorney, I'm sorry, said it clear that, we want to make sure if you are going to have emergency or absentee, for your own business or vacation or anything, just to call in the staff, and I think it's called Elijah, unless she has a staff person, to say your excuse absence, very important, versus non-excuse, where no one knows what happened to Mr. Polito or what happened to whoever. You have an excuse absence that doesn't count against you. Am I correct, Ms. City Attorney?
Yeah, I think it may be that even a certain number of excused absences may be capped, but at a certain point, if you have too many excused absences, it's going to be considered a pure vacancy.
Okay. Sounds good. And we should call into Eliza James' office to have that clarified, or, make sure that she knows it was called in as an excused absence. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I think how we'll do that is, we'll have Jessica take note of, who's gonna be absent, or if there's an excuse, or.
Yeah, she was an excused absence. She let us know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about. Perfect.
Yeah.
So Jessica, you'll RSVP everybody and we can go back like that. Okay.
Yeah,
Until we meet in person, obviously through Zoom, it's a little tough, forgive us, but we'll be in person, hopefully first of the year or thereabouts. We don't know yet with the protocol. Will we be on live channel TV at that point, or will it still be just the way we are now? Anybody have that answer yet? Elijah or your staff?
I'm sorry, somebody just came in my office. What was that?
Oh, no, just the channel 35, when will that go into effect, if possible, if you have an idea?
Oh, we'll have to check with our IT folks, and I know we're on a very specific regimen with how we communicate and everything else, so I guess we can add that to the list or to the agenda for next time.
Very good, that sounds good. Okay, any other questions about the duties? For now, you'll get more stuff in your staff report team for the next month. We'll go on now to item number 3 under Roman numeral 8. Discuss work plan for fiscal year 21-22. Would anybody like to start the discussion? I have some stuff, but I'll let please the commissioners, my colleagues, start off the conversation.
Do we have a staff report for this?
Oh, thank you, Lana. Yes. Do we have a staff report?
We do.
Okay.
We just got it up on the screen. So really what this is tasking the commission with developing a work plan for city council to review and approve. And in the background section, we have some items that should be considered. The first one is to review the purpose of the commission as defined in the municipal code, which is one of the things that I read off earlier. Number 2 is to discuss and outline any priorities established by city council. Number 3 is to brainstorm goals, projects, mission, and determine the following: identify priorities, goals, projects, ideas, etc. Determine benefits. Determine if the task or item is mandated by a federal, state, or local law. Determine if the task or item requires a policy change by city council. Identify resources needed by completion, example, support staff. Specify completion time, 6 months, a year, or longer. And then specify the measurement criteria, how you will know if you're on track. In addition, prioritizing these projects from urgent to low priority should be in the plan. And then finally, to prepare a work plan for submission to city council for review and approval. Now, this is not something that has to be done and completed tonight. This is something that we wanted to start the discussion on. And we know this may take a while to be completed before it's ready to take to city council for review and approval. But we wanted to, at a minimum, start the discussion tonight.
Very good. I like that. It's well said, and that's what that's our task team. So if I will open it up for just preliminary discussion now. If we want to prioritize a few items, which I know we do, and there's a few crisis items that I'm sure we want to discuss at further length in other meetings when they're agendized. But this is the time to share anything that you feel is pertinent to the work plan, or suggestions that we could put in a nice package, if you will, eventually for city council, like Ms. James said, so they could approve, and then we can go from there. But we do make these recommendations totally from the concept where what we see from our communities, from our constituents, what we believe are very important items that need to be addressed, environmental speaking, of course. And we want to make sure that we're specific, and we're looking for solving problems. That's what I always believe in, and solutions to the problems, if we can, to recommend, so that the city council could take it from there and discuss and do their due diligence to perhaps ordinances could be changed, or things could be happening that the prioritizing our stuff, they will prioritize on their agendas.
Right.
So go ahead. I'm open for discussion at this point to my colleagues. Anybody like to start? Because I'll have quite a few, but I want to open up first to the team. Just in general, we're not getting too specific. I know the hydrogen sulfide is going to be a heavy issue. We're going to want some feedback and help out on that capacity. But why don't somebody, Bill or somebody else, open up, and then I'll follow up with some of my thoughts, if you will. Anybody would like to speak now on this item for a minute? You guys have the floor.
I would like to state, it's not only the hydrogen sulfide that I'm concerned about here in our community. I would like to see exactly what type relationship we have as a city with all of these oil companies and all these plants we have around us that are surrounding us. And what are the dump plans? It sounds like we are being taken as a dump site. And I want to know exactly what has been set up and what the plan is dealing with these companies, what they're supposed to be doing to prevent such hazard waste from being wasted here in our community and in our city. And I want to look into what we as an environmental commission can do to help our city council to understand that this stuff is detrimental to our health. And it's harming our kids, it's harming us as senior citizens. It's really affecting the livelihood of us as citizens here in the city. And that's my main concern.
Well said. Is that Commissioner Nadine?
Yes.
Yes, I appreciate what you're saying. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm sure my colleagues do too. Yeah, we are like turning into a little dump site, if you will. And we do need to clean up, literally, from the refineries, the other corporations, and perhaps from that channel that, everything's coming down our way from up north, and it's 15-mile channel. So it's a 24-mile channel if you go all the way up. And, we have to be cognizant that that was an eye opener, like you said, we as senior citizens, I'm one too. We can't be living, this is a health and safety quality issue of life that we need to make sure that we as commissioners are adhering and taking heed to the fact that people are getting sick. People are really, children, I have grandkids, and I got my purifiers, they're helping me in the house, but outside, recently it's getting a little better. I'm gonna be truthful, but it's still a hazard, and we need to. This can't happen in the future. We got to have a better mitigation program and a project plan for this to never happen again in our great city. I mean, disasters are one thing, but when we have a crisis that's here and it's been going on for over a month, and we still haven't got the source other than they're saying now, and I'm going off for a minute here, forgive me, but they're saying now it's the algae and it's organic that's causing it. I still wonder if it's any of the big, refineries, corporations, the fire. There's a lot of stuff been dumping in that channel in the last month or so or two, and we need to have facts and figures and tests done through labs, scientific tests, so that we make sure we get to the root of the matter. What's the source?
And
So
we
that-
also need to have an emergency plan put in place for the city that a faster response can be made. I think a lot of our citizens became really disappointed in the fact that the response time was really, really slow. And I
Yes.
think we need to have something in place that we can do a much faster response. People can deal with an issue if they're getting answers. But if you're dealing with an issue and no one is giving you no answers whatsoever, it blows all out of proportion, and it blows up the feelings of everybody. And I think we got to the point of where the city was about to boil over. And I think if we have some emergency plans in place, a lot of that can be prevented. So we need to help come up with some emergency plans that can be put in place when we have something like this to happen in the future. We're ready and prepared to go to it as a city and start dealing with it urgently.
I agree
Adding
again.
to,
Go ahead, sir.
if I may, sir, adding to what Ms. Giles Ward said, we need a more expeditious way to notify the citizens when there's an environmental emergency. We had the flaring, the burn off at the, at Marathon Refinery. You had to walk outside to even find out what's going on. And you necessarily shouldn't. I mean, television's great, whatever, but people have different ways of finding out information now. I mean, it's just a social media and such. We need a more expeditious way of notifying the citizens when there are emergencies in the community.
I agree with you on that. We're noting it. So far we have 3 points. We have the oil refineries updates, the dump site concept that we're saying, we're not alleging, but we're saying we want to look at that and review what's going on with all these polluters in our city, not just the refineries, but the other ones. And that goes to trucking industry, the routes, the way they're going through our communities, going through my house here, got cracks all over the place because of the big rigs over there coming through. Check our truck routes. That's one that I want to mention.
Absolutely.
And the emergency response time, like you had mentioned, a very important, crucial thing is we need to have an update and a preparedness plan that's updated, if you will. And I think Commissioner Taylor said the right thing, notification. There used to be something called a CAN program, and that was I think Bill knows about it more than I do, but it used to give out these phone calls to our main lines, or our landlines. But now that everybody's using cell phones, like Commissioner Taylor said, we need to have a better system, like you just said, that will expedite, let people know that there is something coming, from an earthquake, God forbid, from an explosion, from pipes, have to have our pipes checked out again, because these pipes they're all under heavy pressure. And that's very dangerous if one of those, God forbid, was to leak or explode. And so these are things that we've talked about now for, centuries, literally, for some of you that have been around since since the 1960s and before the city was even incorporated. We have to have an impact report on what's going on, especially with the notifications. I agree with you, Commissioner Taylor. We got social media now. We should be able to come up with a good plan. And that's something we'll put on the agenda for part of our work plan, is to see what we could do to rectify. Folks will be notified right away, instantly, like they do Facebook, like they do Instagram. You get all these instant notifications. I get them on my computer from AQMD, but it's 24 hours, within 24 hours. When there's a crisis, we need to be notified immediately within the hour, just for the whole city, citywide notification. So we'll put that down as one too, sir. Anybody else for the work plan, suggestions?
Yeah, I will. Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Bill.
Okay, so to reiterate some of what you said, for
Yes.
emergency, the city does have a public safety commission.
Yes.
Under that commission, the city has staff from the emergency, what do they call that department? There's an emergency
Yeah, preparedness department in the basement.
preparedness department in the city. And the former planning staff person was moved there, and it comes under public safety, like code enforcement and all that. It's under public safety, but it is an emergency preparedness. So what we could do is try to work with them. If we want to come up with something, we could interface with Public Safety Commission, have one of them come and speak at our meeting, and see how we can help them out and they can help us out. So that would be my recommendation with the emergency thing, because there is emergency. I'm willing to say it doesn't look like they're very good. We had a recent earthquake, 4.4 earthquake. I didn't see any emergency people, telling the citizens what's going on much. I heard it on the news.
Yes.
So maybe there's a lot of weaknesses in that we should be asking the Emergency and Public Safety Commission, as well as the Emergency Department of the city, what's going on. And they do have a meeting with, the fire department, the police department, et cetera. So that's a good thing in our plan. As far as beautification issues, we had some programs. We had a tree planting program. We had, and with climate change, we want to start and look at these things too. They're beautification issues, but they're also environmental issues, because tree planting is part of the environment. We need several trillion trees, and we can catch up and not have a climate change. We can reverse the climate change. And so if the city wants to do our part, which we do, let's plant about 10,000 or more.
Yes.
So we should look at those issues, again, that impact climate change, that are beautification issues, I think. And then, of course, we have the canal issue. We have issues that are, which I have brought up. I'm also a member of AB 617 Community Steering Committee, in which we do that under the AQMD, the Southern California Air Quality Management District. And they have a rule that I've mentioned to the staff a lot. They have a rule that's being voted on, and it's being voted on next Friday, November 5th, by the AQMD Board of Directors. That rule will put, now I'm getting into detail, this doesn't have to be in the plan, but
yeah,
it will put a vote to install catalytic filtration, SCRs, the catalytic filtration units on all the boilers and heaters in all the refineries. And by doing that, there's 11 refineries in the county and 270 of these boilers and heaters. We have 2 in Carson and 2 in Wilmington. So we have 4 of a lot more than most other places in the county. So we should be working again and promoting this rule change, which it will install filtration units on all boilers and heaters in the refineries.
Can I stop you right there? Can we put that one down? No, I want to make sure we put that one on our agenda for next month, because we did miss the date, unless we can do a letter. I want to do a letter on that behalf, because rule number 1190 that you're talking about, it's very important that AQMD
it's 11. It's rule 1109.1, rule 1109.1, and it's an AQMD rule putting these filtration, catalytic filtrations, SCRs they're called, on the boilers and heaters. So, and that'll be November 5th of the Board of Directors. So, which again, the plan, that's pretty much everything I have, but
That's a great
let's
point,
look
though.
at
I
the
want to,
plan. Let's look at working with other agencies, other commissions in the plan of that do have emergency plans or should have them if they don't now. Thank you.
thank you. And I didn't mean to pause you, but I did want to get staff to realize that that will be an agendized item too, because even though it's a part of our priority plan of action, we need to address that ASAP with a letter. And I'm sure the city council will be wanting to do that unless they want us to draft it from our commission, which we can do it collectively, or just give it to them so that I'm sure that they'll be looking at November 5th. It's very important that the city take a stance and that they're there at that meeting. Staff, Miss Elijah James, you might want to note that we're asking and recommending that somebody be there, and you have a little time, maybe the city manager and the city attorney could address that more thoroughly, but we need to put at least a generalized staff, letter together saying that, we support this, that we need to have these 1109 SCRs that Bill's talking about, the units. They have to be implemented at all our 4 refineries for sure. If
So
not all,
Lana, sorry to interrupt. So Lana, what is the procedure? I believe the
Yes.
commission can write a letter that is then provided to city council.
Right. It would not be something that would occur before a November 5th meeting. It's especially as the specifics of providing a letter and taking a position is not on the agenda for this evening. So we would bring it back as a future agenda item if the commission wished to take action and approve. And the letter doesn't even have to be directly written by the commission, but the commission can recommend to the council that the council support a position letter, and then they can provide further direction in terms of what that letter would look like. But it's not something that we could put to a motion and recommendation to the council on this particular agenda before you.
yeah, okay. Sounds
I would
good.
like to say something, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
And I believe Lana will probably agree with me, but I believe it would not be appropriate for us to write a letter as commission to the AQMD.
No.
We're really, really responsible to the council. Is that correct, Lana?
Just because you're on a commission does not mean you lose your individual First Amendment rights.
Right.
If you wish to draft a letter to AQMD on your own, and even if you do use in your letter, you mentioned the fact that I am a member of the City of Carson Environmental Commission. You can do that with the disclaimer, and you have to be very clear in that letter that I am presenting the following comments in my personal capacity. You want to be very clear in any personal correspondence that you make with respect to this, especially given the November 5th deadline, that any correspondence or any comments that you make are made in your personal capacity, and they are not representative of a full commission or city position.
Correct. And not, and on your own personal letterhead, no city letterhead, obviously.
Correct.
Good point, Lana. And I agree with her. And Bill, if you want.
Another point, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Vice.
So in addition, since it's running out of time, I would recommend each one of us that wants to make a statement here, go to Tuesday, this coming Tuesday's council meeting, not go to it, but it's a Zoom, it's probably a call-in meeting. Call into this coming Tuesday meeting. I don't believe it's on the agenda, which is not out yet, but if it isn't on the agenda, you have to do a non-agendized and make a statement on behalf of a resident that you wish them to support this and have the residents of Carson support it. So you could do that at not only next November 5th, but at Wednesday's council meeting, November 3rd.
Yeah, under your oral communication. Good point, Bill. That's very
what I
good.
recommend.
Okay,
Good.
good point. So we'll, we'll move right along here.
What's the time limit on our meetings?
Yeah, I was getting to that. I think we should move right along here. Is there any more? Because if not, we're going to continue this item because obviously, like Elijah James said so clearly, this is going to take this a work in progress, and we will. I've listed up several of
Right.
them, and I'll send them to her in an email. But I'm sure they got it in a recorded message here, and Lana will attest to this that we are just doing this right now as a preliminary, this conversation to get the ball rolling on all the things we're going to be doing for the near future. Okay, anybody else would like to speak on this for a minute? Otherwise, it is getting a little late and I know.
One other thing, sir.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like you to list is,
Go ahead,
a couple,
Commissioner.
2 or 3 years ago, we were dealing with Shell Oil because they're planning the establishment of a ethanol facility there.
Yes,
And which would really, it would really increase the number of trucks entering and leaving that facility. Okay, and coming up Wilmington or up Del Amo next to homes and et cetera. So I really like to get an update on it because I haven't heard anything about it since prior COVID. But it's still a significant issue because piping, I mean, that's the major trans piping center there. I mean, that's what they do.
yes.
So it's something we need to look at.
Excellent point. That's under my list. And so that takes care of the pipeline issue that we will discuss. I would like to have also for my end, is there anybody else that wants to add anything more just for the list for now at this point? Any else?
Well, if I could, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
the pipelines of Shell is one thing, and then the other thing we've discussed in our environmental AB 617 is the Equilon tank farm, which is the Shell tank farm. It's an organization called Equilon. We're now looking at the amount of pollution coming out of the tank farm, not the refineries. So the AB 617 is also now looking at that through the AQMD. So I would like us to get involved if we can in that also. Pollution coming out of the tank farm of Shell.
Okay.
It's called Equilon.
Excellent. So noted. So my points are, we have a coalition for safe environment, which, I'm part of. So you all know that I'm an environmentalist. I've been with them for 15 years. And this letter was sent out to the city council.
Can't hear you.
Via the city manager's office. The mayor had asked us to send this report. This was on the H2S. So this was a preliminary report that we put together and some fact sheet information that we wanted for the record of city council meeting, which they took in, by the way. And my executive director, I'm a board chairman of this coalition, just so you know, out front. Jesse Marcus, who helped me, we put this together with Bill and the rest of our coalition. And all of you are welcome to be part of this coalition, by the way. It's for the whole South Bay area. It's an environmental coalition. And I want to make sure that that's part of our plan of action when we get to H2S and try to, give some good solutions to the cause. I also would like to put on the record that we make sure we get the feds and the state and the LA County and the localities involved with our mandates here that we're going to be discussing. And that what I mean by that is, I think one of the oral communication said earlier, the grants and internships for young folks that are like one of our staff members who went to Long Beach State, I believe she said. I would like to see if we can get some of our university student bodies involved with our commission and with our staff as interns, and maybe get grants so that we can give them stipends and help them out and help us do some of the legwork. I know it's a lot of work for our staff. So something like that, we'd like to implement eventually into our plan of action. The carbon footprint that I want to discuss, not tonight, but just put on the priority list, is all the warehouses should have solar panels for the future, and maybe to discuss and see if we can get them to put this on as a mitigation factor. And what I mean by that is put solar on top of these big roofs of some of our big corporations, and they'll be able to save money eventually by saving energy costs. Zero emissions is what we want to get to in Carson, and the best way is to start working with our solar panels on warehouses and big, huge buildings that we have out here, future apartments or big dwellings, and do also a comprehensive public works, if you will, flow chart. Elijah, we'd like to know what our staff is made out of. I mean, who's on staff? We met these nice folks tonight, and get to know, what are the duties and what are some of the stuff that we have going on in our public works. Specifically, I know you're doing right now a comprehensive slurry plan. We want to beautify our city, as you heard the commissioner say, more trees, fixing our sidewalks, doing more slurries. Out here in the south, Carson, we do definitely need it. It's a must. And we want to make sure that we have that as part of our comprehensive plan of action that we will help you put together. Lastly, I just want to say I want to thank everybody for their points. The annual report, eventually, we would like to be able to have and be able to share with the rest of our city commissioners, like Bill said earlier, and maybe even tag team, work together and how we could be more effective, especially because we're on Zoom and because we're on a coronavirus protocol. So those are a few that I have, and I want to say thank you to everybody for their points and their priorities so far. We will have a better understanding next month, team. We'll see the minutes, and then they'll prioritize them for us. I think Elijah will have them there, not prioritize, but they'll list them because everybody had very good points. I have about 10 here. I'll work with her and work with the rest of you and making sure that they're all on the, for future agendas, and we follow up and that we do our due diligence. Anything else on this, folks, as far as the plan of fiscal year? It's just preliminary. We got a lot on the table already. So at this point, we're gonna go on to item number 4, oral updates from city staff or stormwater permit and waste. Would you like to give a quick staff report? Because time is eluding.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so real quickly, I just wanted to let folks know that, one of the things that the state of California, it's the State Water Resources Control Board has is a stormwater permit. And it's one of the last time we got a permit was in 2012. And it has taken this long for the permit to be updated. And we just received it in August, and it takes effect. And so what this permit, in terms of like what we do as a city is we go around and we inspect various commercial and industrial locations. It's not every single one who has a license to do business in the city of Carson, because some people, as you know, have businesses out of their home, or are businesses that really don't have anything that might spill into the storm drains from activities that they do. So it's very specified and specific in terms of who is inspected. And so we received our permit in August, and we are currently in the process of inspectors going around and evaluating to determine if there's any issues associated with their activities. So an example is a trash bin. And if the trash bin, for example, doesn't have their top on, and or if it's noted that potentially trash could fall out of the bin and enter the storm drain when it rains, then that particular business is asked to make sure that the lid is on. We give them a minimum of 4 weeks to correct whatever the issue is, and then we come back and make sure that it's been corrected. So it is something that the city has embarked upon, and we are in the midst of completing that. Our goal is to have our first round completed end of January, and maybe that'll go into February, but that's our goal right now. And so I'm just giving you a very high level, but I did want to make sure that you knew that we did get a new stormwater permit and that we are currently in the process of inspecting. I think there's approximately 1,100, a little more than 1,100 businesses that we are inspecting. And so it's a lot of work for our folks to go out there, but they're doing a great job so far. And I don't know if there's any questions, but if there's not, we can go on to the waste ordinance with John, who is overseeing that, because I know we're kind of short on time.
Yeah, any questions real quickly? If not, we will move on.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
I would like to ask her, what part do you see the environmental commissioners or environmentalists in the city playing in that permitting and that inspection of your stormwater? Do we have a part in that? Do you see us playing a part in helping you out in some way?
Yeah, you know, that's a good question. At this particular I mean, I think one of the things that is new in this permit is that they have requested more and or better outreach. So maybe one of the things that I come back to you guys with is asking, you know, what are, you know, how we're thinking about outreach. Do you agree that this is a good approach? Something like that. I know we are required to put on our website documents, and we're currently in the process of doing that. So if you actually look on our city website under Public Works, we have been working really hard this week, and I believe next week it should be completed. But we've worked on completing that and bringing it up to what we're required to in the permit.
Good question, Bill, and then thank you for that response. Yes, Elijah, we will help you with the outreach. We have some, I'm sure we have some thoughts on that, so we will in the near future.
Okay,
Go ahead now. You can go ahead and move on unless there's another question. Waste ordinance, please.
John?
California passed Senate Bill 1383. It's a statewide mandate to reduce emissions, specifically diverting organic waste from landfills. The state wants to define the organic waste as food, landscape, prunings, trimmings, lumber, wood, manure, cardboard, paper products, printing and writing paper, and also plant and animal-based products. The enforcement agency at the state level that's going to be administering the program and regulating the program is called Cal Recycle. It's part of Cal EPA, which AQMD, DTSC are a part of. 1383 statewide level wants to reduce the organic waste by 75% and then recover edible food by 20% statewide. So what they're asking all the counties, the chartered cities, and the model cities to do, all incorporated cities essentially, is to put forth an effort to get residents and businesses to contribute to those totals. So each city is not going to be held to those numbers, but the statewide goals are 75% for organic waste and 20% for redistribution of edible food. In terms of the city of Carson, our goal is to implement organics and recycling collection programs, contamination monitoring, education outreach, capacity planning with the other jurisdictions, the county, and then other local agencies that are able to assist, such as LA Sanitation, and also meet our procurement requirements, which is going to include using mulch in a more efficient way, using compost. Those are the big examples. The big items for us to monitor in terms of this ordinance is going to be the supermarkets, the grocery stores, the Whole Foods, the food service distributors, wholesale food markets, restaurants, hotels, and health facilities.
That kind of summarizes where we are on that. And John can answer any questions, but it's a state law. And so we're just complying.
And I'm glad to hear that, Brother John, that we are working on this, because I'm one that believes that if we could make organic, compound waste into fuel or save the earth, if you will, by reducing the 75% within the next few years, we'll be a lead, like you say, a model city. We will be the innovators and the creators of a healthy environment. And we will be pushing for that, by the way, through our commission efforts and through publicizing, helping you out and helping Eliza and the rest of our team to get the word out that, if we have to, you're gonna have to give us more info on how we can do this effectively, but if we could do that through our own waste in our trash cans. I know when I was a kid, we had a garbage can for strictly vegetation and for waste in one, and then we had a regular trash can, and then we had the incinerators in the backyard.
Yeah,
So,
I grew up in LA City, so I'm familiar with what you said. There was a separate can for food. There was an incinerator, which we weren't allowed to use when I was younger, but earlier than that, people were using them, but they were still in the yards.
Yep.
Yes, that used to be an old program.
That's right. So I'm just letting you know that we will, look forward to the implementation of this SB, the bill that you mentioned, and we will work on this as one of our projects, for sure, that you're already on. So thank you for that. Thank you, Elijah, for making sure that this was at least brought up tonight. And there'll be more info and I'm sure more stuff coming down the pipe. Any questions for John? Any questions from anybody? This is good news. This is exciting. I like hearing stuff like that. This is excellent. Okay, so without said, then thank you for those reports, both you and Elijah and John. And now we are going to commissioners, members, oral communication. So we'll just go down the line, staff. If you could just have each person, you can have, a couple minutes if you need it, or if you don't, you just say pass. But by all means, if there's something, an announcement that you want to share with us, something important that you just want to get out there from the community view that we should all be aware of, an event, anything that, concerns not only the environment, but for the good of the cause, if you will, for our city, we're open, but please keep it short and sweet. So please, Rita or one of the staff, read off each, I'll go last, and Bill and I will go last, but I want to hear from my brothers and sisters, if you will, my commissioners, any oral communication, please, this is the time.
Okay, sure. Commissioner Ward?
I enjoyed the meeting. Thanks for inviting me on to this commission.
Thank you. Commissioner Taylor?
I passed, and again, thank you. And it's a nice meeting everybody, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. Commissioner Isaiah Payne?
This is happening as your group, but no one cares about my problems.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What was that? Was there a problem you want us to address or something you want to share? Oral communications, go ahead.
Okay, we'll keep going. Commissioner. Commissioner Mack? Hearing none. Vice Chair Coons?
Sure. I would like to thank everybody for coming and hope we can work together and so forth. The only event, of course, is the council will meet next Wednesday. If we want to present anything, especially Rule 1109.1, AQMD rule, and the AQMD meeting is the 5th. And what I was hopeful that we could even have a meeting in November on say the 4th, because the council meets on the 3rd. Election day being the 2nd, the council meet the 3rd. So I would like to see us meet on the 4th. I will make a motion if that's in order or could be done. Since we are supposed to, this is a special meeting, it's my understanding anyway, that the regular meeting of Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month, would be November the 3rd, which is council meeting night. Now, we could have it during council meeting or at the same time, but I would rather have it at the 4th and have a council and have a environmental commission meeting. The agenda does not list November, it lists December, but I would still like us to have one in November in preparation, especially for the 1109 rule, which AQMD will vote on the 5th of November. So, and that's my only announcement. My only question too is the work plan. Is somebody going to, I wanted to say also, we used to have the recycle event. We used to have a recycle event under our commission. And then it kind of got pulled away to public safety or something else. I don't know where we stand on that. So I'd like us to look at, the staff to look at the recycling event, you know, where you could bring back your televisions and old tires or anything that's recyclable. And
Yeah,
sometimes
we just actually had one last weekend.
you do have one.
Yeah, we had one last weekend. It was posted on the website, but there will be another one in the spring.
Okay, good. So I don't know if we can get involved in that, or that should be under a
Sure.
commissioner. But it's working now. But anyhow, let's look into that one. And I think I'm done. I said enough.
That's good, Bill. So clarification from the city attorney is, and also Eliza, is it possible that we can, you know, we have time and notification, it's tough, but can we actually schedule a meeting for next Thursday as opposed to Wednesday? Because city council is, you know, happening because of voting, but is that something we could do, city attorney, legally at this point? And also Liza, and with your staff, can we handle that because of the 1109 AB bill that we have to, you know, support and get a letter? I'll get a rough draft and bill to you, Eliza, you know, over the weekend or as soon as possible. And then we could discuss it and then we could take a position like the city attorney said individually. But if you want to make that pretty much our agenda, I'm amenable to it. I'll make a second, but first I have to hear from the city attorney if legally and properly timing wise, we could do that.
As long, I mean, we could always do a special meeting because you only need 24 hours notice and agenda, but we are obviously subject to staff's ability to have the resources and availability for a meeting at that time.
Yeah, I know the special meeting versus a regular meeting. That's what I was trying to get to. Yes. So if we were to entertain that, Eliza, would you be able to do a regular meeting next Thursday, you know, for an hour, not going over?
I think what we're saying is it'd have to be a special meeting because it's not on the time when the commission is supposed to meet. That just like tonight, it's a special meeting because it's I believe, Rita, you said it's the bylaws or there's something that the city has said that this commission meets on the first Wednesday of the month. Is that
Yes,
right, Rita?
this commission meets on the first Wednesday of the month.
First
So
Wednesday.
any Thursday would be a special meeting anyhow.
Yeah, that's right. So if it's not on the first Wednesday, then it obviously, like the city attorney said, it obviously becomes a special meeting.
Yeah,
So-
and my only concern is because, you know, I still have a lot of my resources, a lot of my staff working on the Dominguez Channel. A lot of us are helping out in the, you know, call center. It's being staffed 7 days a week. We're helping a lot with the residents. I just don't know if I'd be able to, I mean, I'd have to look, but you know, it is a lot to pull everybody together.
Okay. How's the rest of my colleagues feel? Consensus, let's take a little vote here, just a straw vote. Would you all feel I mean, I'm gonna leave it up to you. If I get a majority, then we're gonna have a special meeting. But if
Okay,
I don't,
Mr. Chairman, if I may, on
Yes.
next week, I am not available for a meeting. I will be leaving for Arizona. I have a sister that passed. So
Oh.
next week I will be attending her homegoing service in Arizona.
so my condolences. Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have a thought on this? Because if not, I think we may have to pass, Brother Bill. But again, what does the commission say overall? Anybody else have?
Yeah,
Yes,
if you don't mind, sir. I'm really concerned about Ms. Whitman and her staff. I know they're overwhelmed, and that may be an understatement. So I really think that we ought to be fair to them. Because there's not enough time and the resources, I mean, and everything they're involved in. I just think that it'd be bad timing to have a meeting. I say let's just wait to the next scheduled meeting, and we're in
Okay.
compliance with the code and everything else.
Yeah, and we could write our own individual letters like the city
There you
attorney
go.
said.
Yes,
That's
sir.
good point.
Absolutely.
Absolutely well said, both of my commissioners. So anybody else want to say anything? Because I think I'm gonna take the prerogative and say maybe we better pass on trying to do this at this point, Commissioner Bill, if that's okay with you, only because of it's pretty darn short notice for not only staff with their hands overwhelming full, but also our commissioners and whatnot. I think we could write our own letters and we could certainly bring it up at city council under oral communication
Right.
as an
Uh,
individual. You know, there's a lot of ways you can get this out there to the public. So
Mhm.
I unless somebody wants a second, I'll just say at this point we're gonna have to go ahead and delay.
I understand. I understand.
Okay, good.
One other thing we usually do at a meeting, we
Yes.
take a poll of what should be on the next. If it's not November 4th, then it will be December 1st, I believe. What does the commission want to have at the next meeting?
Oh yeah,
I
I was
think the
gonna do.
Dominguez channel is obvious. A report back of what the AQMD did. That's obvious, I think.
Yes,
What other things is priority for the next meeting in
that's a good
December?
point. I was just gonna finish my oral communication and ask that what would be anybody have anything to put on the next agenda, but on my oral comments, all I have to say is couple things real quick because of time. Please, Elijah and city attorney, look at the letter that we presented to the city manager and the city council and for their review, and also the recommendations for the H2S to incorporate this into our next month's meeting. And we'll have Jesse Marcus from the Coalition for Safe Environment give us a presentation, if you will, and make sure that the city manager is following through on some of the key points here that are very high priority for the city council at that level, obviously, and that we as commissioners follow through on making sure that that's put into the record. I'll be glad to send you this copy, but I think she has it, Eliza. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it was given to all
I
city.
haven't.
Yeah, it was given to her directly in a digital and a hard copy from Mr. Marcus's office, but I'll follow that up, make sure you got a copy and she has a copy.
Okay, and just so I make sure, so Lana, what is the process for that in terms
Yeah.
of the commission requesting, say, the city manager or anybody else to follow
Yeah.
up on things like this?
If we're making a formal as a body request to the city manager, it's the same as the letter. It's the same as the issue of the letter that I believe the letter, because I couldn't, Mr. Chair, I couldn't hear you when you had the letter up.
Oh. Okay.
So I couldn't catch what the letter is. Is this just a draft of some, is just this a letter from another agency that you want shared with?
Yeah, well, we spoke at oral communications in the last few weeks, and he has an actual breakdown of which H2S is hydrogen sulfide. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm getting real bad
Yeah,
feedback.
I heard some static too. And what it is they wanted to know what were the fact. We have a fact sheet and we have a updated, if you will, a breakdown of monitoring that we have already as evidence-based scientific information that they found very interesting for the high H2S, hydrogen sulfide in the atmosphere and in that channel. So we wanted to make sure it's in there. They
Here,
have
take our future for us.
Pardon?
Thank you.
So I just wanted to make sure that it's already in the public record. It's already in city council's hands and the city managers. They were going to follow up with Mr. Marquez and the coalition. But we want, as environmental commission, I want to make sure it's full disclosure that we also want to follow up on this. We want to make sure that it's working, it's moving. And if there's anything more to add, I will bring it to your attention, of course.
The most effective and powerful way to do that is to have it as an agenda item before the commission and act as a commission body.
Yes.
On that. That's the most effective way to proceed.
Okay, so I'll add it to that. Thank you for that. To just move to cut to the chase. We'll add it to the agenda for next month's meeting, and I will follow up with you on that. Second thing is, remember, everybody, please get out to vote. If you haven't voted by mail, get out to vote by November 2nd. Everybody, please. And thank you all for, I'm humbled to be your acting chair or your chair for now. And I'm looking forward to a great commission, and our meetings will be very effective. They'll be shorter. This was the first one. Elijah knows we had a lot on the plate, but we will we'll work better with our time, with our power agenda, so that we're moving a little more effectively. But hey, I think we did good and had a lot to share. So thank you again. God bless you all. Have a great weekend, and please get out to vote. And any other last comments? Otherwise, I think I'll go ahead and officially close the meeting.
I don't think we have any staff oral communications.
Oh, staff
No.
oral communication, Eliza?
I don't have any.
Okay. Then Lana, do you have anything else for us? How did we do?
Nope.
We do okay?
Nope. No, I think you're good. In the interest of brevity, I will keep my mouth shut. No, you guys did great, and congratulations to both the chair and the vice chair.
Thank you. And say hi to Sandy and the team out there. We appreciate all your hard work.
Will
And
do.
Eliza, keep up the good work. All the staff, sorry to keep you a little overnight, a little late night, but take care, everybody. Hey, by the way, can you, Eliza, send everybody, please, phone numbers and emails so that everybody can be in contact with each other?
Are we allowed to do that, Lana?
Can we do that, Lana?
You can certainly share the contact information and phone numbers. I'm a little hesitant about that because of the Brown Act, and we don't want to be encouraging intercommunications between the commission members outside of a set meeting.
As long as we don't talk to more than 3 or 4 people, is that correct? We don't ever, I break the Brown Act is a quorum. As long as, if I talk to Bill, I wouldn't be in violation, or if I was talking to Ms. Mack.
Even that can easily turn into a meeting in seriatim. If it takes 2 people talk and then 1 person talk, it's an issue. It can be an issue.
Okay, so then strike that.
Chair.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Chair Polito. I will add the next meeting, there's going to be a training and the city attorney's office will give all the commissioners a training and they'll go into those details.
Perfect. That's what we need. And meanwhile, we'll adhere to that. I appreciate that, city attorney. And to Elijah and everybody again, thank you very much. Please, if there's anything that you want us to, prep on or read up on, feel free to send it out to us. I think I'm speaking for all my colleagues. The Beautification Commission, like Bill said, I know there'll be packages in the next month, but if there's anything that you think would be pertinent that we should be reviewing or looking at, I'm open to, reading, and I like to read, so it's okay with me. But again, only if it's, it's legal and it's okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Everybody have a great weekend.
Everybody have a great weekend. Exactly.
All righty, good night.
Thank you, John.
Good
Thank
night.
you, staff. Thank you, Liza. Thank you,
Thank you.
to Lana. I love that name. That's a beautiful name. Okay, take care, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the last to sign off. Make sure everybody's okay. Have a blessed
Bye.
night. Take